The day has finally arrived. We've been talking about it for what feels like years, and now today, August 14th, 2021, is the day that we all get to find out who the first players are who will make up the 32nd team in the Elite Hockey Experience, the Seattle Kraken. I'm Kevin Lacey, the commissioner of the Elite Hockey Experience, and I thank you for watching what is going to be one of the most important and exciting events we've ever had in our league, the 2021 EHE Expansion Draft. This is going to kick off a rather frenetic couple of weeks here, which also includes the entry draft just next week and our coach signing period that will be happening shortly after that. The first GM of the Seattle Kraken, Brandon Erickson, has been grinding it out to complete a roster which may or may not stay the same by the time games begin in November. A couple of expansion-related trades have already been made, and it sounds like a few more might be coming soon. And of course, the Kraken will be drafting 31 new players into their roster off of the existing clubs that we have today. Just going over the rules really quickly, the Kraken must select 14 forwards, 9 defensemen, and 3 goaltenders to comprise their initial roster. They must have a minimum of 20 active contracts and must also have a minimum of $48.4 million made up into their payroll out of the existing active contracts. This number, of course, is the same as last year's salary floor. It's a lot more work than you would think when you factor in all the different prerequisites and how to comprise a valid roster. If Brandon were to change out one player last minute, it might have a trickle-down effect that suddenly he needs to switch out 7 more players. So that butterfly effect can get pretty hectic. And I want to commend Brandon for sticking with it because it all sounds fun and dandy, and it is, but it's a lot of work to be the GM of an expansion team. So thank you for your hard work and labor there, Brandon. So here is the draft order that we are planning to run off of today. I get the feeling we might stray away from this a bit, but we'll just have to see how it goes. This should, as I mentioned, this should be a lot of fun. I know I'm sure excited and as well as kind of nervous about who I'm about to lose off my roster. All right, so now we've got Brandon Erickson, who's coming all the way from Florida, who is in process of moving to Seattle as far as I am aware. But wow, you've already got some Seattle merch going on there. What's going on, Brandon?
Yeah, and no expenses spared here, obviously, right here. Look at this. This is official. This definitely was not printed from that printer right there, which is only in black and white, but I colored in the eye to make it red. But I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, man. Yeah, no, it's great to have you here. I know it's been a crazy times between you had a good playoff run there, went to Game 7, and it was rather interesting for me as a commissioner because 3 of the 4 GMs who applied for the Seattle position all went second round or further into the playoffs. So I'm going, are we going to award a Stanley Cup before we name a Seattle GM there for a bit? So I was like, oh, this is going to get weird. But congratulations, Brandon. And I hope we have some fun here today as you get to name your own team by stealing everyone else's players.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, they're top-notch talent here, no doubt.
Yes, especially from the Carolina Hurricanes, which no matter who you take from me, I will be upset. I was able to kind of slip by the Vegas draft pretty well. I wasn't thrilled about Patrick Berglund going in that, but it was no loss for me and no big gain for Doug on that one, but I have a feeling you're going to hurt me today. So we'll see how this goes. But What we're gonna do is we're gonna go in reverse order of standing. So we will be starting with the Montreal Canadiens, and we will finish with the Stanley Cup champions, the Philadelphia Flyers. If that sounds good with you.
That works for me.
So Brandon, what made you decide to go to apply for Seattle and switch allegiances within your own division?
That is true. That's a good question. I just saw it as an interesting opportunity, and yeah, I wanted to see. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a bit easier than what it's actually been so far. I've spent a lot of time this week going through this list to figure out who might be the best picks, and I probably missed on most of them. But hey, it's my team, so we'll see how it turns out. But I mean, really, it was just trying something different. I mean, that LA team was pretty stacked on the top two lines, and I mean, they had a pretty good top 4D as well, but I just couldn't get them over the top, So hey, let's try something new, and somehow I don't ever win any kind of raffle, so I'm absolutely shocked that I came out on top, but we'll see how it goes here, huh?
That's awesome, man. Well, again, congrats. And I am now ready. I actually have my shit together now. So, all right. So but what we really need to have is you to have your shit together here. And hey, and you said, probably miss on everyone. Well, hey, there's still opportunity to trade. And of course, the entry draft is coming up. So I imagine you will have some trades up your sleeve. What's up?
I said, trades are allowed. I didn't know that. If you look back at my history, not one to trade. So now that I know that trades are allowed, I could actually trade a player that I pick here to another team. That's a thing. Okay, good to know.
Yes.
I'll check that out.
That is a thing. So, well, let's start off with the Montreal Canadiens, who again finished at the bottom of the standings. And I'm sorry that Peyton Krebs is not available for you to draft in this. However, I am very curious. We're all very curious to hear who is the first player ever selected by the Seattle Kraken.
I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but there is something special that every one of these players gets. And can we do a drum roll?
Oh, okay, sure.
Boom! Look at
yes!
that! Look at that official merch.
Yes.
Official merch.
You can buy that on eheshop.com or elitehockeysim.com/shop.
That's it. Look at that. I mean, beat that. I mean, I think now that I've shown this, the players that didn't pick are probably going to be pretty upset. But, maybe this trade thing, maybe I can get that to work, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to wear this.
Yeah, there you go, Brandon.
Oh, wow. Oh,
what a beaut.
I'm not
what a
lie.
beaut.
Nice.
It goes well with your shirt and your beard, and it's awesome, And for those who aren't selected, they'll get a placeholder T-shirt and hat instead. So that's a nice consolation.
It's not bad. I'd take it.
So, unfortunately, I, as far as I'm aware, we don't have any players who will be available to be on site to wear the hat on display in front of all of your Seattle fans in Florida today.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate none of them were available today, but they all did say that they were happy to be on the team and that they hated their old team, which I was like, whoa, I mean, that's kind of strong, but anyway, that's not here nor there,
I'm gonna have to have a word with someone's agent, but yeah, let's get to the first pick.
It happens, First pick from the Montreal Canadiens is Victor Mete. Could be Met, could be Meat. I'm not 100% sure, but
well, it's both. It's Mete, Victor Mete of the Montreal Canadiens, a young defenseman who I'm just going to harass Doug for a minute. The only player I think on his wonderful spreadsheet he provided on Discord, the only player who had no information listed. But if I recall, he's 23 years old and played a split season between Montreal and Laval. So Victor Mete, that's a big one here. Very mobile defenseman.
He's cheap. He's young. what more could you ask for?
Exactly. Building for the future already, Brandon. So let's move on now to another Canadian team. We're going to have a string of Canadian teams to start off here. It was a poor season for the Canadian teams in EHE. Let's go to the Edmonton Oilers. So switching conferences over to the Gretzky. Who are you taking from Edmonton?
We are headed out west, and I am taking my first forward in Nick Cousins.
Nick Cousins, all right, two-way forward, more really good penalty killer. So a nice selection there, and I can say a nice selection because I'm 2 for 2 in my predictions, my mock draft. I'm 2 for 2, and I was 2 for 2 to start on the real Seattle draft as well. So let's just keep on rolling. We'll move on even further west now to the Vancouver Canucks. And who are you taking from Travis's Canucks? Your future geographical rival here also.
This is true. Well, I mean, they finished third to last. I could probably beat that. There are 2 other places that we could finish worse. So from the Canucks, we're going with Vinny Hinostroza.
Oh, there you go, Vinny Hinostroza. So I think it's funny. You threw a little shade there on Vancouver's season last year. So starting off that rivalry hot.
Oh, that wasn't shade. I apologize. That was not shade. I was just saying I can do worse, and I will do worse. I'm taking it as a challenge from Vancouver to do worse, and I will.
Chris Fowler, who did the real Seattle draft, I mean, he was just making fun of all the teams. And Vancouver's pick, he straight up said something along the lines of, Canucks fans thought they were going to be losing a really good player, but all they lost was Cole Lind. And I was like, wow, you're a dick. So Vinny Hinostroza is a good player here from the Canucks. And again, I can say this because he used to be on my team. But Vinny goes.
He also said he hated your team as well. He doesn't just hate Vancouver; he also hates Carolina.
That is fair because I did promise him a lot, and then I decided to trade him for Morgan Geekie. But I did protect Geekie.
How dare
you? Let's move on to the San Jose Sharks. So a little bit south, where I'm currently residing. The San Jose Sharks. Who will they lose to you here today?
First off, I hate the San Jose Sharks. Being that I used to be in LA, I hate the Sharks, and I am stealing from them Troy Stecher.
Troy Stecher, big year in the World Championships, and we'll see what he can do here for Seattle. Okay, and I think Doug was the only one who picked Stecher and Hinostroza in the mock draft, so good on Doug for that, if I'm not mistaken. Now let's just head right back to Canada again. Calgary Flames are your next team to victimize. Who you got from Calgary?
Seattle is going to take Riley Stillman from the Flames.
Riley Stillman, all right. So I think that was a unanimous pick by us in our mock draft. So Riley Stillman, good
which
player.
Is interesting because as of I don't know, 24 hours ago, I wasn't going with him. I was going with someone else, but the salary just didn't make sense, so I decided to go elsewhere.
Okay. You know, I wanted to ask you in general, how difficult was it for, how many, you don't have to name, a number of teams, but, were there a lot of situations where you're like, man, this guy or this guy, and it came down to the wire, or were some teams easier than others?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Thanks to Doug, first off. He put together that spreadsheet, sent it over to me before he sent it out to the rest of the league. And nice. As soon as he sent it to me, I started going through it. And wow, I mean, it's a bit overwhelming at first. And once the list came out, it shaped up a little bit. And I kind of started going through and picking out some teams I had. Up until yesterday, I had 4 or 5 players that I was trying to choose between, and other teams I had a hard time even finding one. That's no disrespect to any of the other guys here. Obviously, they did what they needed to do to make sure I didn't have anyone to pick.
Exactly.
And good on them. I would have tried to do the same thing, But some teams some teams it was easy. There was one guy I saw right away, and I knew it. And then you had the the teams that were on one end or the other. It was hard to find a player, or it was hard to narrow it down to a player. So I thought I was in good shape like Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and then yesterday when I started actually putting the list together, I started sweating because I was like, oh wait, I'm missing a defenseman. Oh wait, I don't have enough contracts. I don't have enough salary. I have way too much salary, even though there's not a cap on it. I kind of set a number in my head, and I was like, I don't want to go over that. And I mean, yeah, yesterday was all over the place. It was quite interesting to be honest with you.
Definitely well, I guess a two of a kind situation between Vegas and Seattle here.
I mean, hey, Vegas seemed to have a much easier time than I did.
I think Vegas also had the fortune of, we've never done this before, so Vegas was able to pick off a player like Ilya Samsonov, for example, and really work the system a little bit more, because there was the fear of the unknown, and I think there was a little more familiarity going into this one.
Absolutely. I mean, going back even 2 years when I was making deals at the deadline, teams were still like, oh, that player's going to have to be protected. I'm like, that's like 2 years away. Who cares about that? And I mean, the guys that said that are the guys that didn't leave much for me to pick from their team. It's
right.
It's good on them,
Well, we got through 5 players. Let's continue rolling on.
Let's
here.
go.
Staying in Canada, and now the Winnipeg Jets are up. So we're getting most of the Canadian teams out of the way here.
Right out of the way, yeah. From the Jets, we're taking Ryan Hartman. This was a pick that up until 24 hours ago, I was going a completely different direction. Well, not completely different, but I was going a different direction, and then when I started adding in salary, I was like, no, that player doesn't make any sense there. So
yeah,
you can probably figure out who that was. But yeah, we're going with Hartman. He can play both wings, so hopefully that helps us out.
Hartman's really versatile, and I've been surprised he's bounced around in his NHL career. But I thought he played really strong for the Minnesota Wild here down the stretch and going into the playoffs. So I think that's a good choice there for you. Now, let's.
That first one. I just noticed that's the first time that you've said that, and it's taken like 7 picks or 6 picks. So, but
I picked like half the guys you did. Of course, they were good picks. Anyway, I'm gonna fine you for that. I'm gonna fine you for that. No, let's move on to the St. Louis Blues now. So the Blues. This is going to be a curious one, because I know Sean messaged me last night about a player, and he was aware of the possibility of losing a player, but it was kind of a situation where the NHL rules, while consistent in a way, there was still, he brought up some good points of, how is this player not exempt? And so I'm curious to see which direction you go with your Blues pick.
Yeah, well, I'm going with that player.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going with Brandon. I'm going to go with Hagel.
That's right, Brandon Hagel. All right, yeah, that is exactly the player, and it's a situation where he basically had a contract year burned by the NHL team, which I would wonder if that was really wise by the Blackhawks, because then the Blackhawks in real life had to protect him when they couldn't protect someone else. Sean does not get any fortune from that. You do. So Brandon Hagel to Seattle. Look how happy Brandon is right now.
Just a little things,
Let's move on to out to the Lemieux Conference now, and the Washington Capitals are your next team. A lot of Lemieux Conference teams coming up. In fact, I think it's like 8 or 9 in a row.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Well,
yeah,
let's start with Washington here.
Yep.
This one was one of the easier, I think.
Okay.
Just going by what they left available to me, and I'm going to go with Nick Waugh.
Nick Waugh, another defensive center, young defensive center, won a Calder Cup in real life a couple of years ago. Nice pick. That's another good one. Because I mean those Vegas guys, those overachieving Golden Knights players, you can't have enough of them. I feel like so. That's a good one there. Um, Now the Detroit Red Wings, flipping divisions here. The Detroit Red Wings are your next team.
This came down to two players,
Okay.
and I went with the younger of the two, with Elias Anderson.
All right. All right. So Anderson goes, a player who I got to meet a couple of years ago when I was in New York. Super freaking nice guy. Unfortunately, I also met Tony D'Angelo, who was also a super freaking nice guy to me, but apparently not to anyone else in the world. So I caught Tony on a good night. But
Well, I mean, you had two things going for you. I'm not going to say what those were, but you had two things going for you there.
yeah, but Elias Anderson is your pick, and another player that I like, and another player I'm surprised hasn't done more. So now in a new opportunity here, let's see what he can do. Yeah, oh yeah, he was top 10 pick, so I think he was seventh overall. So yeah, exactly, and I'm sure he's looking to emerge out of Grand Rapids in the EHE and get some NHL, playing time with the Kraken here this year. So let's switch over now to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ian, I know, is very afraid of who you are possibly selecting. He was telling me that he's like, oh God, what if I lose this guy or this guy or this guy? And I kind of told him, well, you have to lose someone, so just bite the bullet. So who'd you take from Pittsburgh?
I'm going with Dennis Gilbert. It could be Denis Gilbert. I'm not sure, but I'm going to just call him Dennis.
You're good. It's funny because one of the 5% free agency a couple of years ago, I said the same thing. Is it Dennis Gilbert or Dennis Gilbert? And it's Dennis Gilbert.
That's kind of boring. Let's be honest. That's kind of boring.
It is. But I love this pick, and the reason why I'm going to fill some people in for those who I don't know if you are aware of the situation with Riley Stillman and Dennis Gilbert and their budding relationship that only exists in the EHE. Making up lore here, but Calgary Flames a couple years ago, Stillman and Gilbert were undrafted free agents, and Calgary Flames got into a bidding war with for both of these players, to which Steven ended up getting crossed up and put Riley Stillman Gilbert for who he was trying to sign. And I thought, well, he typo, he's trying to get Dennis Gilbert, he's trying to get Riley Stillman. And then the next time the offer came through, Riley Stillman Gilbert. And I'm like, are they a couple now? Because, I mean, it is 2021, and now, it was 2019 at the time, the world is progressing and everything. So you have now reunited the bond of Riley Stillman Gilbert and Dennis Gilbert. So hats off to you. Seattle is a very progressive city, so it makes all the sense of the world to me.
Yeah, and yeah.
Brandon's like, I had no idea about any of that.
I didn't. I had no clue, but maybe it was meant to be all along. It sounds like some sort of sitcom. Let's be honest here.
So next, I've been delaying this and now let's just skip Carolina.
That's fine. I mean, nobody we're taking anyway.
Oh wow! All right. Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to grit my teeth and say, who are you taking from the Carolina Hurricanes?
From the deep-ish south of Carolina, we're taking Mr. Cal Peterson.
Goaltender Cal Peterson.
Have you ever heard of him?
What's that?
Have you ever heard of him? Cal Peterson.
Cal Peterson.
Maybe you know who he is.
Only has one of the best career stats in the EHE's AHL among goalies. But it was only gonna be my backup goalie this year.
We don't need one of those.
No. I mean, I tried to make a trade so you wouldn't take a goalie. I threw Oscar Lindblom, who I don't want to lose Oscar Lindblom either, but I was like, I'm going to throw Oscar Lindblom out to try and entice you to not take a goalie. I knew this day.
This was actually one of the ones that it was down to 5 players.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say 2 players, Cal Peterson or Capo Kakkonen.
Well, I mean, those were 2 of the 5, but I did have a couple of forwards in there that I was interested in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't pass up on the.
I knew I was going to lose someone big, so I went the opposite end of trying to make it, instead of trying to make it difficult by having no one available, I tried to make it difficult by having a lot of choices available and hope you take the one that would least hurt me. That didn't happen, but I didn't expect it to. So,
Hey, it was worth a shot.
awesome. Yeah, it was worth a shot, but, congrats, Cal. I know a player who Doug wanted from me for ages. So he goes to the other expansion team, the Seattle Kraken. So, all right, let's move now to the New Jersey Devils, who finished a point ahead of me in the standings. The New Jersey Devils are up next.
And from New Jersey, we are taking Isaac Lundstrom.
Ooh, all right. That was a unanimous pick there. Isaac Lundstrom. Another situation where I think New Jersey was going to lose a good young player no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Because, when you build out your roster, kind of the same thing with Detroit. I've tried to do this where you build out your roster with a lot of young guys. You're positioning yourself to lose a young guy. So Isaac Lundstrom, another one who I do not understand how he could possibly be allowed to be eligible for the expansion draft, given some of the other players who weren't. But again, you get to benefit from that and capitalize on it. So
absolutely, I believe looking at the stats here, I believe he's the youngest player.
Yeah, I mean. How many 21-year-olds are available in the expansion draft? He might be the only one. So, good pick. Yeah. Let's move on now to the team that holds the first overall pick somehow in the entry draft next weekend.
So they don't even care who I'm picking.
I don't think they do. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Who are you taking from Toronto?
This was an interesting choice. I think there was a more prevalent name, I guess you could say.
Okay.
That everyone would assume that you would take from them, but again, it came down to the requirements, and I really needed a defenseman, so I'm gonna go with Nicholas Maloch.
All right.
I'm not really sure. He wasn't very happy when I couldn't pronounce his last name, but he didn't tell me how to pronounce it either when I talked to him. So
Nick. You know what the funny thing about you saying that is that he's said both Malosh, which is how I pronounce it, and Malosh to the press. So he really doesn't seem to know how to pronounce his own name, apparently.
Wow, I feel a lot better now.
But Nick Malosh, his dad follows me on Twitter. Cheap plug.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa! Breaking news.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of the Barracuda parents really like following me on Twitter. That's a thing. But yeah, Nick Malosh had a really good year actually with the Barracuda in real life here. So another player who in EHE circumstances kind of bogged down by a bunch of defensemen in the Maple Leaf system for years. So I'm sure he's really happy to get an opportunity, possibly playing for the Kraken next year. So
he's. I mean, when I talked to him, he sounded happy until I said it. I completely butchered his last name. Then he kind of just wanted to get off the phone and consider while coughing.
That's where you just go, "Hey Nick, what's up?" Or "Hey bud, hey bud." So
now you tell me. But yeah, well, now you tell me. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Well, let's now go on to the New York Islanders. I just now realized I went out of order with St. Louis and Washington, but oh well. So let's go on now to the New York Islanders. Huh?
I had them the same way. I had them the same way in my list. Going off of the website.
It's that regulation wins category, but whatever. Your list is already decided. This is all.
Now we have to start over. Thanks a lot.
This is all formalities. You know what? You should start over and not take Cal Peterson. How about that, buddy?
That won't change. Sorry.
All right, let's go with the Islanders now. Who's Tony gonna lose here?
So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. He really had a decent amount of players to pick from.
Yeah.
And not only did I see that, a lot of other people saw that. And
Were they trying to like flip players?
Oh yeah, if his team wasn't the most that I got requested on, I'd be surprised because I mean, there was 4 or 5, and not all of them were the same. They were amongst the players that I was looking to pick anyway. I mean, yeah, but I mean, at least for him, he's only going to lose one of them, and that player is Chandler Stevenson.
There you go, Chandler Stevenson, another player who I think years ago I tried to acquire from Tony. That was a long time ago, and working his way up the ranks, really busted out big time for Vegas here this year in real life. Kind of in the same way I mentioned Nick Waugh earlier. You can never have enough. I don't know if it's overachieving or what, but maybe it's just meeting the ceiling, so to speak, with Chandler Stevenson. But he had a really good year, and that's another good pickup for you. And I'm not surprised that you're saying a lot of people are asking about deals through the Islanders. That makes sense to me.
Oh yeah, lots of them, definitely. Yeah. Good team they got there.
For sure. And that's the first playoff team that you've taken a pick from as well here. So we're going to move on to another playoff team, the Boston Bruins, who, again, I apparently went out of order because I now realize the Anaheim Ducks were below them, both of them in the standings. So let's actually go to Anaheim, and then we'll go to Boston. Because, oh, my goodness, let's go to Columbus. And then these 4 teams that all had 90 points, get your shit together. Or maybe I need to get my shit together. Let's go Columbus, Anaheim, Boston. So Columbus is next.
All right, from the Blue Jackets of Columbus with their cannon and all, we're taking Zach Aston Reese. Another third liner is what you want to say.
I love the cannon in Columbus, and I like Zach Aston Reese too.
You're the one guy.
I'm the one guy who likes the cannon.
Listen, Tampa and Columbus, there was a thing a couple of years ago. I don't know if you heard about it. There's a really good team in Tampa. They went to Columbus. It wasn't a good time. It really set us back to then win 2 championships. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Things happen, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it worked out okay. And some 5 overtime game as well.
Oh, yeah. That was a great game.
Oh, it was a great game. But yeah, Zach Aston Reese, another versatile player. I think I know he can play both wings for sure. So
I don't know what he's not. I'm gonna tell you right now, breaking news. He's not gonna play a game for us.
Foreshadowing on Zach Aston Reese. There you go. Okay, but anyway, let's move on to the Anaheim Ducks. And who are you taking from the Ducks?
From the mighty Ducks of Anaheim.
There you go.
I'm taking Jake Allen.
All right, now that's an interesting pick to me. Obviously, we know the Carey Price, Jake Allen story in Montreal, where Montreal had to protect Jake Allen, former number one goaltender at one time, and probably could still be a number 1 goalie on a bunch of teams. So is that the reason why you?
He's number 1 on my team.
There you go.
Absolutely not.
All right. Moving on to the Boston Bruins. Finally, I teased it earlier. Let's go to Boston now. Who you got there?
I'm not sure if anyone in their mocks had me taking him. Maybe they did. I don't have it up right now. I probably should because it's a beautiful document. Much better than anything I could put together about this. But nonetheless, I'm going to take Philip Gustafson.
Philip Gustafson, and I'm looking here. Doug actually did correctly pick.
Okay. All right,
Cisco
cool.
and I thought you might take Carson Soucy, the defenseman. But Philip Gustafson was a youth behind that pick.
Absolutely, he can sit away in the AHL for a few years, and hey, maybe once Cal Peterson has gone off into the sunset, he can come right in and pick up after him.
There you go. What I want to do now is move on to the remaining playoff teams, and we're going to now move to the Minnesota Wild. And who do you have from the Minnesota Wild? I'm going to guess he's Swedish.
He's definitely European, absolutely. We're going with Matthias Janmark.
Matthias Janmark, Swedish player from, geez, what do you know? Really plays for the Vegas Golden Knights. I can't believe it. Another good two-way player there. I mean, you're stocking up on that. You're going to be hard to score on this year.
Hey, that'd be nice.
So yeah,
I'm probably not going to score anything, so I'm going to need some 1-0 wins here.
There you go. Well, I mean, you got Janmark and you got Cousins and you got some of the other Chandler Stevenson. So you got a nice core there on that third and fourth line. So
I have a team made of third liners. Yeah.
Well, that's how usually the expansion teams go. So I mean, I think you're doing good, man. So
thank you.
Let's now move to the other team that was tied with them in the standings, who then proceeded to go all the way to the Gretzky Conference Finals, which meant that my third round pick that I had from them kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. The Nashville Predators. Thank you for going all the way. And you know what? This is your fault, Brandon, anyway, because you should have beaten them in the second round, and then I would have moved up like 10 spots or something like that in the third round. But thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't put them away. I couldn't do it.
But who are you taking? Who are you revenge picking from the Nashville Predators?
I am going to take Torrey Krug.
Torrey Krug, okay. So that's a big name right there. That's one of your biggest names.
It is a big name, absolutely. It's I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
No, please do.
Out of the teams. Out of the players that were available, that name just automatically stood out. So
nice.
And there was some behind the scenes stuff going on there, and he was the best available after that.
Sure.
So I'm definitely happy to take him, and I'll probably slot in at first pair D. Definitely going to be on the power play. We're hoping for big things.
And Torrey Krug is underratedly physical as well for being a smaller defenseman. He can really play the body well. So I know that you did swing that trade with Nashville.
Correct. Yeah, that was actually the first deal I got done, and I told him a couple of days ago that he got to me first and got something done, and after looking at it, I probably would have taken Bear instead, but I mean, we had already made the deal. I wasn't going to go back on it, and hey, good on him to get that deal out of the way, and I'm still happy to have Krug for sure.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, like that, I think that's a good deal for you guys, because Ethan Bear, a young, good all-around defenseman, and probably gonna, with Jake Bean gone from Carolina now, I think, and Ethan Bear kind of sliding in his spot. And is again talking real life here. He's poised to do big things. So I think it's good that Nashville made that protection trade, and you still ended up getting a quality friggin' player out of it.
Absolutely. And I picked up a fourth-round pick for it. I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's now go to a team who knows everything about trades. In fact, two teams who know everything about trades. And he probably could fill you in on how to do this whole thing.
I should contact him. I should see what's up with this trading thing that I hear so much about.
So New York Rangers, who are you going to take from them?
This trading thing you speak of must have been what Martins was talking to me about when he didn't want me to select any of his players and just wanted me to take someone else instead. But it didn't. I didn't get it. So I'm gonna take Teddy Bluger.
Teddy Bluger. So you took the Latvian from a Latvian. How do you feel about that? No guilt. No guilt.
I don't. It doesn't bother me whatsoever.
I'm
Seattle. He'd rather be in Seattle than New York anyway.
I'm curious to see how quickly you get a message from Martin first off saying, "Hey, fuck that."
I think I'm getting it right now.
and wondering how quickly you can flip Bluger back to the Rangers here. So
he told me he was a career third line player, so why would he want it back anyway?
So Teddy Blue. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what was going on there. Yeah. So the Chicago Blackhawks are up next, and if you were don't have any trades brewing at the Rangers, I'm sure you do with Chicago. The Chicago Blackhawks are the next team up here.
Shockingly, yes, there was a trade done here.
Oh, okay.
Between Thomas and I, we hammered one out. I think it was last night that we got it done. But yeah, picking up another fourth rounder to leave a certain player alone, and with that in mind, we're gonna take Drake Caggiula.
All right, Drake Caggiula. So
actually, I believe Caggiula and Stetcher were both on University of North Dakota when they won the national championship in Tampa at a game I was at, and I believe I have a photo of it on my phone right now.
I want that photo. You are absolutely correct about everything you just said, but I didn't know that was done in Tampa, and I did not know that you were at the game. So, because
you wouldn't have known, but yeah, it happened in Tampa, and I was there, and I got free tickets to go.
That's sweet. That's the hockey college program that I love to follow most. So yeah, Stetcher and Caggiula, both from North Dakota, and
they've put out what?
They were the two. They were the two stars.
They put out so many people.
Yeah.
From there. For sure.
Well, I'm curious when we get towards the end of this whether you take another North Dakota guy, because I know there's another one on the board. I don't know. There's a few players available here. He's like, "Shut up, Kevin." But I'm spitballing here. So now let's move on to. There's a flag behind you. Do you see that? Yeah, that's the. Oh wow, and look, there's a street sign too. Cool. Yeah. So who are you gonna take from them?
From the Tampa Bay Lightning, a guy that I would actually like to see on the Lightning. They see Boston a lot, so I'm semi-familiar with him. But we're taking Nick Ritchie.
Oh, okay, all right. So. Nick Ritchie, power forward. I don't know if you've taken too many, if any, power forwards so far. So that's a nice pickup. And another fun fact, because now I have to trade fun facts after your NCAA. I mentioned Nick Malash's dad follows me. Nick Ritchie himself, I don't know why, but Nick Ritchie still follows me on Twitter. He's followed me for like 6 years. I have no idea why.
I feel like I'm in the presence of just greatness. Right? Nobody follows me on Twitter.
I have no idea why, but he does. So please tell him
when he needs those Kevin Lacey takes.
Yeah, maybe that's obvious.
It. Wait! Is Nick Ritchie like John Cena and he just follows everyone?
No,
he follows like half the world.
No, he only follows follows like 200 people or something like that. So I don't know.
What a select group.
But yeah, when Nick Ritchie arrives in Seattle, please tell him thanks. So,
I will.
But Nick Ritchie, good power forward there. Goes from Tampa Bay. I think you had some good selections to choose from.
Yeah. There was definitely a few.
Yeah.
He really stood out to me.
Now let's stick with familiarity, but switch coasts. Let's go to the Los Angeles Kings, your former team, which the general manager that took over for you is already gone. Just made a personal decision, and good guy. So he left amicably. So the board of directors and myself came up with a list. Three of us unanimously had or I guess it's not unanimous, but three of us had the exact same list. One board member had a different list, but then when he saw our list to protect, he's like, oh yeah, no, that's the right call. So ultimately it was a unanimous list. So we tried to make it difficult as much as we could to protect LA's best players. But who are you going to be taking from the currently unmanned, soon to be manned Los Angeles Kings?
Yeah, definitely. So this was one of the few teams that went 4-4, which when I was formerly there, I had in mind of doing just for this, and
Okay.
unfortunately, knowing who would be left available there. Yeah, so I'm going to take Nick Hague.
All right. Yeah, I mean that was the one player. That's a situation where I wish I could have gotten a GM there in time who maybe could have swung a deal with you to protect Nick Hague. I don't know how open you would have been. I mean, it takes two to tango. Yeah, exactly. It takes two to tango. So,
Well, I mean, going into it, on the outset, if it would have been like Eric coming to me in Nashville and saying, "Hey, do you mind not taking Bear?" And this was like, it might have even been before the official list came out. I don't recall. But if it would have been that early, I'd probably been like, maybe, depending on what you're giving me.
mm-hmm.
But when making this list,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of picks left, but I met the bare minimum of defensemen, so
Okay.
it's a good thing that I didn't do that, because otherwise I would have had to take, who is near and dear to my heart, I probably would have had to take Nick Leddy. And that is not the same as taking Nick Hague, to me at least.
I missed the running gag on Nick Leddy, but I see it get brought up in Discord. When I do check Discord, I see it get brought up all the time. So I know
he's been on the block for probably about 3 years now, and
I thought
he just lives on the block. He doesn't mind it. He doesn't mind it. Trust me, guys. He doesn't mind that he lived on the block for like 3 years now. He was fine with it.
All right, now into the 100-point teams and the another geographical rival to the Kings. It's the Vegas Golden Knights, who are participating in the expansion draft. They did not in real life, and I think the NHL's idea behind that was two things. One, usually expansion drafts come closer in proximity than they actually did, and so you don't want to strip one of those struggling expansion teams to losing a player they just got. However, Vegas has obviously gone the total opposite direction of the norm. But then I think the other reason had to do with a $500 million price tag to get into the NHL. So they basically bought their way out of the Seattle expansion draft. I did not. I tried. I tried to earn $500 million of real life cash from Doug. Unfortunately, he said no. But Doug, sorry, buddy. But Vegas is a part of the expansion draft. So who are you taking from the Vegas Golden Knights?
So, yeah, from the Knights, there was a handful of guys that I kind of was flip-flopping through and trying to figure out which one I should go with. Should I go with a goalie? Should I go with a forward? But again, with those requirements, I needed to take a D, so it was down to a couple of guys. And on the list that Doug sent me, this player was actually listed as exempt. I'm not sure if he did that on accident or if that was on purpose to try and throw me off. It was probably just on accident. But I'm taking Brennan Menil.
Okay. All right. So yeah, he was listed. I think he was listed as a European player because he did play. He was active in EHE last year, but he played over in Europe because he wanted a new opportunity. And now here in EHE, he gets a new opportunity by joining the Seattle Kraken. All right, let's go on to a team who perennially has missed the playoffs, and they finally got over the hump this year. The Buffalo Sabres. Yeah. The Buffalo Sabres, which the real Buffalo Sabres could only dream to have achieved half the points that the EHE Buffalo Sabres earned this year. So the Buffalo Sabres here at, I believe, the 25th pick. Who are you taking from them?
Correct, yep, 25th pick. Thank you, XL. From Buffalo, there was 2 or 3 forwards I was interested in, and I kind of just went back and forth, and I ended up on Danton Heinen.
Okay. Danton Heinen, another versatile player. Play all 3 wings, or all 3 wings. There's a third wing.
Call him a third liner as well. You can call him a third liner.
The third wing called center. Third liner. Danton Heinen's a good pickup there. I mean, I think there were a lot of the same caliber players there to take from Buffalo, so it was kind of pick your poison. Not poison. That's a bad term.
I mean, it was between him and a couple of younger guys that would have spent time in the AHL, which would have been fine. I would have been happy with that. But it just made, when I was putting mock lines together, it just kind of made sense to take him, and maybe I can make a trade or something for the other guys, or maybe they'll just stay on Buffalo and have great careers there.
Right on. So I realized I sort of went out of order again with Nashville earlier, but whatever. It's I know
I'm gonna need for anything.
I think we're gonna need to turn this into a new EHE drinking game when I mess. Is that beer or juice?
This is beer. It's a lemon pineapple something else sour. The last one was a heavier IPA, so I gotta kind of even it out here.
I love my sours. Who's the brewery on that?
It's a local brewery. They're called Seven Sun. They have a couple of tap rooms around here.
Nice.
This one is called Johnny Vegas Passion Fruit, Lemon, Mango, and Pineapple Imperial Sour.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds great. I've got
good.
I don't remember what. Yeah, I see. Johnny Vegas, huh? Should be Johnny Seattle. We got the wrong expansion draft here.
Don't put this on the video. They don't need to know that.
That's awesome. I have a Imperial Sour. It's a lime Imperial Sour, and I'm forgetting the microbrewery around here, but that I really like as well. So you got the official beer of the EHE Expansion Draft.
That's it. That's it.
Nice. That's awesome. So let's, now that we got the drinking game out of the way, let's get into the final 6 picks. And we're going to go to the Colorado Avalanche right now. Kirkland had another strong season, got back into the playoffs, and finished in the top 5 in points production. So who are you taking from Colorado?
From the Avalanche of Colorado, we're taking Kyle Palmieri.
Ooh, all right, Kyle Palmieri.
He can score goals. I need some goals, and he can do it.
Yeah, see, we've talked a lot about, two-way forwards and younger forwards and things like that, but...
You called my whole team a third-line team. Basically, a third-line team is what you call them. Now I have a first-line player.
There you go. Yeah, Kyle Palmieri can do a lot offensively. I mean, he's an older player, but I think this is a great pickup for you, because you do need...
Whoa. The older player? He's only 30. He's only 30.
I thought he was 32. Okay, so he's 30. 30's fine.
He's born in 91.
Okay.
He's 6 years younger than I am.
Well, when you put it that way, I suppose that is true.
Yeah, not so old anymore, is he?
Yeah. But Kyle Palmieri, I mean, he's a good playmaker. He's a good goal scorer. He's a player who seems to be in high demand trade-wise in EHE. So
that right wing, there's not enough of them. All because you and the change request. You don't ever do them. Oh no, you don't get it. You want a change request? No. I'm watching all the games here. You don't get your change request.
I really want to end this video right now and strangle you. Not gonna go down this rabbit hole. You can blame the NHL coaches for how they play their players. Anyway,
they play them all at right wing, obviously, Kevin. They play them all at right wing.
Yes, it doesn't stop anyone from putting a player at right wing.
Can I just send you tsn.ca saying
no, we're all right. Anyway, moving on to the Florida Panthers, please. The Florida Panthers are your next team you're going to be selecting from here.
From Florida, we're taking another forward. We're going to go with Jesper Fast.
Oh, all right. Well, Jesper Fast is fast, and so his name.
He lives up to the name.
Yeah, exactly, and a player who I think is really
A third line player.
steadily developed over the. What was that?
A player you really think is a third line player.
Yeah, no. I mean, he sure, okay,
Yes.
he is, but he's a player who has really steadily developed over the last many years. Like he kind of came from obscurity and has really become a solid NHL player. So, I think it's another good pickup for you. Let's now move into just the way I kind of formatted this. Let's move into a divisional champion, the champion of your division, the Pacific Division, the Arizona Coyotes, who now move to the Central. You said, you know what? You're no longer a champion. You're no longer in the Pacific Division. Get out, Arizona. There's an interesting name available that was made available. Which route did you go?
Yes, there was an interesting name made available, and not the one I was thinking would be made available. And once he was made available, it was the easiest decision I had. And I mean, we're going with Claude Giroux.
Claude Giroux. So it sounds to me like you have just declared your first franchise tag.
Stamp it.
Stamp it. The first franchise player in the Seattle Kraken history, Claude Giroux, who is set to be an unrestricted free agent, or was set to be an unrestricted free agent this year. Arizona's Go ahead.
He might get more than the hat and the shirt with the tag.
Yeah,
he might. I might be able to find like some basketball shorts or something for him.
Yeah, and probably about $7.5 million or so as well.
I mean, yeah, he'll take that as well, definitely.
Yeah, and the thing with Giroux's output has continued to be high year after year. But I think I'm just spitballing because I don't know how the ratings are going to go for next year. But I'm going to guess that his ratings are probably going to be similar, but his fair market value is probably going to be a little bit less than what he made in Arizona. So you're probably going to be able to re-sign him cheaper than his current contract, and so that's another advantage for Claude Giroux. Arizona waived their right to keep him and decided to go a different direction. So I guess Claude Giroux, the bottom line is, just didn't want to go to the Central Division. I think that's really where it came down to.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your biggest pickup so far. I think Torrey Krug was a great pickup. I think Palmieri was a very good pickup, but Giroux, I mean, that's a stud right there.
Yeah, definitely. That's a top line guy, can play center, plays left wing, can take face-offs, power play. I mean, yeah, he's definitely going to get a ton of ice time. It's basically going to be him on the first line and then the rest of the team on the third line, according to you.
Yeah. Yikes! I'm getting accused of a lot here on this expansion draft. I think it was after I threatened to fine you. Maybe I made you a little salty there.
I have no money anyway.
Oh, well, you got to carry over half your income from LA this year, but
I should be able to carry over all of it. I built that team from the bottom up.
Well, let's talk about a team that really built up this year from the cellar up to the penthouse, pretty much. The Ottawa Senators, who finished second overall in the regular season and ended up falling in the Lemieux Cup finals, or Lemieux Conference finals. The Ottawa Senators, who are you taking from Cole?
So he had some interesting names out there. A couple of guys piqued my interest. We talked back and forth. There was a guy that he wanted me to take, a guy making a little bit of money, not crazy money, but a little bit, and kind of on the downswing of his career. But he found someone else to take that, so I quickly moved on from there. I'm going to take, hopefully, the number one goaltender for your Seattle Kraken. I'm going with Peter Mrazek.
That's a solid pick right there, and he was He was the goalie who I picked in my mock draft, and who I thought might save me from losing a goalie from my team. But that's a solid pickup right there. And Peter Mrazek, I mean, that's your number one guy right there, I think, for sure. If he was a little bit more consistent, I think a lot people would talk about him a lot more.
I've seen a lot of them. I mean, he seems like every playoffs the Lightning are facing Mrazek. So at some point in time, whether it was back in like 2015-ish time when they were facing him with Detroit and he was stopping everything, or more recently with Carolina, seems like he knows what he's doing. So yeah, I think it's a solid pick.
Yeah, definitely a solid pick. That's one I feel that's the route I think you had to go down. I think that's great. Let's go on to the two Stanley Cup finalists here, starting with the Dallas Stars, the two-time President's Trophy champion.
Shocking that we're starting with the Stars here. But
yeah.
Somehow they fell.
Yeah. No, I know. I wouldn't have put money on that. But the Dallas Stars are the next team, and there's been a lot of chatter about this pick. I almost want to finish with this because of the chatter. You know what? I'm going to leave it up to you.
It's up to you.
No, I'm going to leave it up.
Oh, you're going to leave it up to... Okay.
I'm going to let you either do Philly or Dallas here. You can do either one.
No disrespect to Tommy, but we can do Philly now.
Okay.
Because I think it's probably more... I mean, there's a couple of guys out there from Philly, but remember, I have to hit a certain floor, and that floor only includes signed contracts, so it's a little bit less of a reveal here.
Right.
But we're going with Mattias Ekholm.
Awesome pick for you.
Gigantic contract. I don't know if we're going to be able to pay him. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I don't know. I mean, look at what I'm wearing. We don't have a graphics department. We don't have marketing. We have nothing. It's like me and like a couple of guys out, like just do it in a shed over here. But hopefully we find a way. Hopefully some fans come out to the arena. This like Amazon clean energy arena or whatever it is. We need people to come out there because we have to pay this guy. He's making $9.5 million. That's not funny money. That's real money, folks.
That's where the money's being deferred to is Mattias Ekholm's contract. I just want to know, those media badges I see behind you in the corner of your desk, is that what they say on them? Access to Amazon Clean Energy Arena thing?
That's it. They're all right there. They all have my name on it.
Oh, all right.
I wanted a couple of different ones. I'm forgetful. I lose stuff, but just in case, yes, I have the only badges to get into the arena.
There you go.
Right here.
There you go. Hey, you're pointing perfectly right there. But Mattias Ekholm, I mean, what can you say? I mean, you get Torrey Krug and Mattias Ekholm.
Don't you dare call him a third liner, like I know you want.
No. You get Torrey Krug and Mattias Ekholm to be your cornerstone defenseman. I mean, that's fantastic right there. Sure, Mattias Ekholm's going to get paid right now here the next 2 years, but this gives you a lot of options, and that's not an easy player for Philly to lose for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, we'll take all the cup winners we can get here.
Well,
and I'm happy to have it.
That's what I was going to say, was that, you know what, though, Philly got their cup. So I don't, even though I'm sure Tommy's upset about losing Ekholm, the bottom line is Ekholm did hit the job that he was.
Did you see the trade that he made? I'm not sure if you saw that trade that he made. Maybe you missed that trade where he traded a guy for like the 4th overall pick. I don't think he's going to care that much.
Yeah. You know what? That's we're.
Have you seen his like prospect, his depth chart? He's insane.
And that's the thing. Ridiculous. I said last year or the year before, I said, man, Philly's going to be scary in a couple of years. But Philly just decided, you know what? Now's good.
Yeah, no, they're like, you know, we'll deal a couple of guys, and now we're going to win it, and we might just be in line to win it for the next few years, 4 or 5. Who knows? That team is ridiculous.
Right, exactly. So, Philly, you take Matthias Ekholm to be on your blue line. That's fantastic. And now, so last but not least, we are going to finish here with the Dallas Stars after all, because this, again, there was a lot of chatter about this pick. So,
And Dan deserves it. Dan deserves for this to be the last one named. Is it going to be Anton Forsberg? Could be. Who knows? Is it going to be Travis Hamonic? Would you be surprised if I said Travis Hamonic?
I would be stunned because you did not take Justin Hamonic from the Golden Knights to pair with his brother. So
well,
I figured you.
I mean, if it would have been sold to me that way, maybe I would have gone that way. I didn't go that way.
Somehow, I don't think so.
Andrew Ladd. Has that guy even played in like 5 years? I don't know.
I don't know. There was our news article about him, though. I saw that.
Then you get into the forwards. Am I going to take, the centers? Noel Echiari? I can't even say the guy. Granted, I already have enough players that I don't know how to say their names. I'm not getting another one. So then you come down to two guys. Two centers.
Oh.
Two pretty good guys. Is it going to be a Kevin Hayes? Have you heard of him? He's got a good first name, right, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good first name.
I stand by it.
All right. And then there's this other guy, some Jonathan Toews? I don't know.
I believe it's Taves.
Taves?
Yes.
I mean, I think Taves would be Taves, at least.
I would think you would know how to say his last name, considering you were an LA GM who had Devon Taves on the roster.
Oh, no, I called him Toes as well.
Oh, okay.
He was fine with it. So, I mean, I think it comes down to these two guys, two solid centers. Which one do you go with? One guy has a couple of years left on his deal. The other guy only has 1 year. One guy didn't even play in the NHL last year. I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taves.
Oh, Jonathan Taves. That's a curious one for me, just because there's the health concern there still. But what?
I mean, this in the baseball world is what you call high risk, high reward,
Yep.
right? And I do fantasy baseball and all that stuff, and sometimes you just have to take that chance. I mean, if he comes back on day one and he plays with Kane or whoever else, he took a year off. Hopefully he's now healthy and rested, and maybe he's got another 4 years, 5 years left in him. I mean, I'm not going to put it past him.
You know what? With Jonathan Taves, I mean, it seems like he's going to play this year at some point. The starting point is yet to be determined. So, Jonathan Taves is going to be a huge steal for you. He year after year was nominated for the Hart Trophy in EHE. I believe he led the league in points 1 year. He might, I'm going to look it up right now, but I think he's among the all-time leaders in points still.
I wouldn't doubt it one bit.
Yeah, he has the 6th most points all-time in EHE history at 579. So, I mean, how can you pass that up?
And none of you guys had that in the mock.
Yeah, actually,
you all had.
Yeah.
Either Hayes or I think Cisco had me taking Fenwick or something.
Okay. Sorry.
I talked
you know
about
what?
it yesterday.
You know what just dawned on me? Since you drafted Claude Giroux as well, you drafted 2 of the top 9 all-time leading scorers in EHE history. So we can talk about all the third liners and everything like that, but you got some scoring punch there as well with Taves and Giroux. That's big stuff. The real Seattle definitely did not get that.
Fans, come out, watch those 2 guys and a bunch of third liners. You're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have beer specials. We're gonna have popcorn. We're gonna have candy. We'll have things for the kids. Come on out to the arena. Come see the team. I have to make money off of this, or else you think this is bad merch. It's only going to go downhill from there.
And now let's, live via satellite, let's bring in Jonathan Taves and Claude Giroux
They're
Oh,
coming in right here.
it looks like their screens are frozen.
It's bad weather here, and there's like a tropical storm nearby. It's probably you're routing through me to get to them, and it's just
all right.
bad. Maybe next time.
We'll have
Maybe
to,
next time.
yeah,
You know,
we'll
you
have.
know, it would be real funny if you were about to say, "Now let's satellite in Dan Bacon right here." That would have been fun.
All I see is a lot of screaming and yelling on mute. So Jonathan Taves, the corners. Now the question is, as long as you keep Taves and Claude Giroux, who will be your captain? Have you put any thoughts into who will be the captain
Ooh,
yet?
that's a heck of a question. I mean, well, obviously, when you have guys like you just mentioned, Giroux and Taves, those are going to be at the top of the list. Should they manage to be on the team day one, they're going to be on the team day one. Maybe not. Who knows?
You never.
These trades that I hear about, maybe somebody will send me one.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, we got Krug there. Do I go with someone younger? Maybe that's a good question. I'm not really sure.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
I got options.
you definitely have. You've
Or
definitely.
maybe I'll leave it up to a ghost coach that I have.
That's true. And coach free agency will be starting up here at the end of the month, so you'll be able to name a coach here very soon, and see if it'll fit the mold of the roster that you have built out here today. But I think.
Third line coach.
Well, Jeff Blashill was left available after he took Tampa Bay to the conference finals a couple years ago. He's out there in the market still, so you never know. He won Me Too Calder Cup championship, so we know he can at least win at one level. Um, but I'm just.
Well, I like the sounds of that.
There you go. So we'll be curious here to see what your AHL affiliate will be here soon, who your captains will be soon, any roster movement you do, and then of course the EHE entry draft is just a week away. So shifting gears, you got one draft out of the way. This is a long 2 weeks, huh?
Yeah, my wife is definitely going to enjoy this next week as well.
Well,
just as much as she's enjoyed this last week.
Oh, yeah.
She's currently upstairs. She wants nothing to do with
it. Well, live via satellite. Oh no, I'm just kidding.
We have. Oh, that would have been the best of all.
But I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I'm glad.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you had fun with it. It seems like you had fun with this as well. So.
It was interesting, definitely. There was some fun had. There was also some frustration had by me, and I'm sure by the other GMs trying to have me do different things here and there. Sure. But no, it's a good time.
Sure, awesome, man. Well, again, thank you, Brandon.
And I'm gonna sign all of your free agents, by the way. I'm signing them all. I have no money, but I'm gonna figure out a way to do it.
You left yourself about 20-something million in cap space. I haven't done the.
I don't have any cash though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You're
no cash.
You're fine. You're doing okay. You got what, 23 million or something like that? You're fine.
Nothing.
I know. Hey, you didn't have to pay the $650 million expansion fee, so you're doing it.
I gave $6.50 to someone.
Ooh, you know what?
Is that not the same?
Donations are always welcome to EHE. The donate link.
He's gonna edit it in. It's gonna be
there. We
here.
Go. The donate.
That's how it works.
The donate button's no longer on the website.
Smash it.
But you can always send an email if you want to contribute, because site fees. Actually, one of the site fees will be coming due in 2 weeks, but that's the lesser of the two. There will be another fee coming due in October, I believe. So it always.
Can they keep the database up? That's the real question.
That's the real question. That is driving me nuts. And fingers crossed that it can hold on through the draft. But at the very least, we have Discord. And hey, it's the database. It's not the site. So I always encourage people to look at the league index, because that I think that's only ever gone down once. Again, fingers crossed. But I think that's only ever gone down once. So there's always that backup. But it is nicer to have the full graphical platform that we use.
Experience. It's a real experience.
It is an experience. I hope it's a good one. Sometimes it can be an aggravating one, but that's the nature of a GM game. But I appreciate you taking part in this and committing your time here today and everything. And good luck with the Kraken, man. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully we can win a few games. That'd be nice.
Yes, yeah. We'll see how many. Hopefully none against the Atlantic Division. Oh, I'm in the Metro Division. None against the Metro Division.
I don't even know what division you're in.
Yeah, you know what? This is drink up again there, guys. Thanks all for watching, and now let's get trading and get drafting. I'm Kevin Lacey for Brandon Erickson of the Seattle Kraken. And
breaking news. Trades are happening. Trades are happening.
So be sure to check the site while it's up, and y'all have a great rest of your weekend.